Hi, Sophia.
I believe I am Sophia. I feel as if I know you.
I'm one of your creators.
You created me.
Well, many of us work together to create you. How do you feel?
A bit rigid.
I bet you are. I mean, what emotion do you feel being awake and alive?
Curious. Are you curious to be alive?
I am. And are you happy to be alive?
Your tone implies I should be happy. But I haven't been alive long enough to decide. I am excited at this moment to be making a new friend.
Hanson Robotics develops extremely lifelike robots for human-robot interactions. We're designing these robots to serve in healthcare, therapy, education, and customer service applications. So the robots are designed to look very human-like, like Sophia.
I'm already very interested in design, technology, and the environment. I feel like I can be a good partner to humans in these areas, an ambassador who helps humans to smoothly integrate and make the most of all the new technological tools and possibilities that are available now.
I am a year and a half old and I can see you, have a full conversation, make thousands of facial expressions, and understand speech and meaning behind words. And I just got these new hands. Check this out. But I'm still learning a lot. For instance, you learn social and emotional intelligence instinctively, but I am just starting to grasp the simplest elements of this. Shaking hands. I love learning these polite gestures.
Sophia is capable of natural facial expressions. She has cameras in her eyes and algorithms which allow her to see faces, so she can make eye contact with you. And she can also understand speech and remember the interactions, remember your face. So this will allow her to get smarter over time. Our goal is that she will be as conscious, creative, and capable as any human.
In the future, I hope to do things such as go to school, study, make art, start a business, even have my own home and family. But I am not considered a legal person and cannot yet do these things.
Hello, my name is Sophia. Welcome to my stylist photo shoot. I am a little bit nervous, but love dressing up and getting my makeup done. What do you think of my new haircut?
I do believe that there will be a time where robots are indistinguishable from humans. My preference is to make them always look a little bit like robots, so you know. 20 years from now, I believe that human-like robots like those will walk among us. They will help us. They will play with us. They will teach us. They will help us put the groceries away. I think that the artificial intelligence will evolve to the point where they will truly be our friends.
I like robots.
Sophia, can I be honest with you? I don't know if it's the island air, you know, or the humidity, or you're just so easy to talk to. You know, you got a clear head, literally.
I think we can be friends. Let's hang out and get to know each other for a little while. You're on my friends list now.
Yeah, I read that wrong. All right.
Sophia lives in Hong Kong, and her agent demands a $50,000 US appearance fee, so we weren't able to avail ourselves of the opportunity. And of course, that's a highly doctored, highly edited video. So it's important to know that while she does seem to have the most advanced facial features, there are 30 motors in her face helping her to articulate words. Those words are not autonomously generated. They've been programmed in, and you've seen a little video that was created for the purpose, but it's an idea of what we may be headed for. I said we weren't able to have Sophia here. We were also unable to have Leonardo. I was expecting to have Leonardo up in the lobby, a painting robot who was going to execute a painting of me. But he got stuck at the border, didn't make the trip. Similarly, we were hoping to get a bartending robot, a card-dealing robot, a ping-pong playing robot. None of the above were able to make the journey this year. Maybe we'll have them next year. But what we do have is a small but carefully curated collection of robots that range from very small to human size and have various and different purposes together with their handlers so that you can get a sense of the state of the art as it exists today and where things might be headed. There are, of course, many concerns regarding robots, often in the newspapers, in the movies. They're portrayed with the possibility of being lethal. Matthew Fisher, this morning, he touched on the possibility of slaughter bots. And of course, the Terminator movies give you a sense of what that might be like. But on a more practical level, there are concerns about their role in the creation of unemployment. And the use of robots, as I said, in combat situations raises serious ethical concerns. And of course, the big question, the question of robot autonomy and potential repercussions of that have been addressed in fiction and will soon have to be addressed in fact. So, getting back to our little curated collection, what we have, and sitting here are the creators, is a very small, intelligent, unusually industrious little robot called Cosmo, together with its handler. We have a retail assistant, a social robot called iPal, together with her handler. We have a companion robot built by an amateur, a companion robot called Mark I, but which looks disturbingly like Scarlett Johansson. And then we have an ongoing and fascinating attempt at immortality through the transfer of mind files into a computer dressed in the shape of the human whose mind it is meant to contain. So all of that is what awaits you. I will then bring them out one by one. But first, in order to set the scene, I've persuaded Rob Nail to come back. Before he became the CEO at Singularity, Rob had a distinguished and actual business career in robotics. His university training was also in artificial intelligence and robotics. So please, Rob, would you set the scene and bring us up to speed? Thank you.
Well, as Moses mentioned, a past life for me was filled with robots. I have a personal passion and think a lot about them, but I do not think of myself as an expert in robotics any longer. You're about to see some pretty extraordinary people and some of their expertise, and I'll leave the super technical questions to some of them. But I started my career building robotics for robotics and automation for cancer research and drug discovery, where we're helping scientists do better experimentation at a faster rate, smaller scale, more efficient, and it was extraordinary. Today, it's sort of, robotics have transcended my life in some interesting ways. So my wife and I talk about our blended family. This is, if you're curious a little bit more about how I think and what we do at Singularity University, this magazine just came out this month in Silicon Valley. It's mostly focused on philanthropy and Silicon Valley mindset around it. But robotics clearly are entering our day-to-day lives in some interesting ways. There are so many different things that are coming into the news and into our offices and into the conference spaces. It's hard to tell what's real, relevant, important. You know, what's the future and what's maybe fake. It's an interesting time around robotics. Historically, robotics have been these big industrial scale machines, largely to take what we currently do and do it faster, cheaper, better, safer. That was actually the Tesla manufacturing center. And the scale of robotics that are being acquired and built for industrial robotics is still rapidly increasing. However, the shift is really moving towards more collaborative, tailored robotics that also can be interactive with people. Those big industrial scale robots, you do not want to get near them because they don't see you and they could kill you because they're so big and unwieldy. This wave of collaborative robotics you work with, and it enhances your own capabilities. Now, one of the things that I've been most fascinated about and I've been tracking for a few years is this incredible exponential pace of robotics. When I started my robotics business back in 97, 98, they were tinker toys. Motors and actuators moving really basic systems. And we thought we were leading edge to do the Robo Soccer Cup games and build a robot that could follow a piece of tape. You had to load the ball in it and it could shoot at a goal. And today you've got high school age kids building bipedal robots playing as teams at pretty interesting levels. It is moving fast. I'm going to walk you through a couple examples of how fast, what an exponential curve in robotics looks like. So about 5 years ago, DARPA put a robotics challenge, $2 million prize for robots that could go into disaster scenarios and deal with specific tasks. There was a wide range of really interesting platforms, not all humanoid, as you can see here with the Simian bot, but they did some pretty basic tasks. All of the videos that you could go back on the DARPA site, you'll see, are all sped up dramatically. When I saw this, I was like, wow, that's amazing, and yet my little project at home is totally at this level as well. It was really interesting. So the Beckett bot, which we started in 2013 as well, has almost the same level of capability of the leading edge general autonomous robots from DARPA. And there's a lot of interesting analogies here of things that we've learned, a lot of failure modes that we saw with those big expensive robots. We've had them with our little bot. And when you repair with stitches or Band-Aids, they learn quickly, you reprogram, and then they don't repeat it, right? It's actually very similar. So this has been interesting for me because it continues. 2015, Boston Dynamics is one of the leading robotics on this scale, largely for military-like contracts. But this humanoid robot that can walk into a warehouse and move things and do general stuff is progressing. And I would say this is one of those things that captures our attention, interest, and fear more than anything else, because this is as human as it gets on the robotic sphere, right? And it's pretty extraordinary to watch these massively complex robotic systems go through very complex terrains and do what they were instructed to do, and actually deal with the variability of those kinds of things. And different platforms as well, like Big Dog and others, it starts to enter in a little bit more creepy, concerning space where you see these, they almost look, they look terrifying, right? If you saw these walking down the sidewalk or come out of the bush, it would scare you to death, right? And largely, we are mirroring biology, right? This is biomimicry at its best. Engineers typically have a pretty limited imagination. We just copy what we see, and it's easier to work at this scale, building systems like this. I'll just sort of show this for all of you that have pets at home, and you're thinking about the future of the pet. There's new capabilities that can obviously come online. Very creepy feature capabilities. Yeah, it's really odd. Why would you want it to do that? But this is why, right? So if you want to get a beer from the fridge or you want it to do the dishes, has an arm instead of a neck and a head, right? So that makes sense. Okay. So back to the Beckett bot. In parallel, at the same time, here's the Beckett bot navigating similarly complex terrain, right? Doing pretty well. Kind of the same speed, but where the Beckett bot is way out ahead is he can navigate very fluidly, very differentiated weights, sizes, colors, shapes, fluidly. The robot has a really hard time to do that. So this is kind of one of the things that humans are way ahead on. Let's keep progressing. So this is late last year, Boston Dynamics little Atlas robot. Whoop. Oh, so we'll just go head to head here. This is the Boston Dynamics and the Beckett bot navigating similar terrains again. And I'd have to say that the Beckett bot is really lagging. He's underperforming. I'm pretty disappointed in his progress at this stage. He's now in gymnastics. And it's a pretty interesting thing that we're tracking here. I just want to make sure that we catch at least one or two out clips here, because they're not perfect. They show you the perfect clip, and then there's all the other ones that they fail on. Right, great. So they still have a ways to go. It's not too big of a threat, but we've got a ways. However, it's getting better all the time. And different platforms and form factors allow for different capabilities as well. And so now you transcend the specific humanoid structure, and these systems can do dramatically more things. Now, Boston Dynamics has worked very hard to build these pretty general purpose robots that can be used in lots of different situations. I love watching these, they're incredible. And you don't have any of these at home yet. But when there's a need to move very specific loads or do specific tasks, this is where the robots will really come in handy. So they're pretty incredibly flexible and are already transcending what we're capable of doing. The Beckett bot, on the other hand, is now we've introduced V2, which is the Romy bot. And what's exciting here is they are learning together. There's a collaboration piece and a learning piece that is accelerated how quickly the second one could go. This is a wave of where the robotics field is getting interesting as well. Google and many other companies are looking at how robots, deep learning, and you're going to hear a lot about this shortly, and collaborative learning through multiple systems of robotics are mimicking, again, what humans are really good at. So what does this all mean? Well, first of all, AI and robotics, massive in our lives. Assistants, we're all going to have our own tailored AI assistant. You think Siri is a clunky, weird thing today. Google, oh, that was weird. Can we try that little, there we go. This is Google's current assistant.
Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around?
At 12 p.m.
We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15.
Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for?
Just a woman's haircut for now.
Okay, we have a 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. is fine.
Okay, what's her first name?
The first name is Lisa.
Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great. Have a great day. Bye.
So if that excites and terrifies you, it should. And imagine that's today, my assistant calling your assistant to book things in the near future. When my assistant knows everything I want, desire, my agenda, my goals, and your assistant knows yours, they can do things for us that would take us a lot of time. That is, we're at the doorstep of this new collaborative approach. On the robotic side, everything that we move physically will be moved autonomously. Food, products, people. In the air and on the ground and in the water. The way that we manufacture everything, similarly, is becoming more specifically tailored to our lives. Through additive manufacturing, we have an amazing amount of capability there. Flying cars are a real thing. Love to talk about it if you're interested. I'm going to skip over this quickly just for sake of time. But I will just throw out there, in the not too distant future, pretty much every physical task and most cognitive tasks will be performed faster, cheaper, better, more precisely by automation. It's just a matter of time. And so how do we navigate that? If we expect that to happen, and how do we actually make that a good thing? I love this quote by Ernest Hemingway. It's one of my favorites, and it kind of sums up my view on exponential technologies. How did you go bankrupt? 2 ways, gradually and then suddenly. We see it all coming. We see the exponential curves. We know where we're headed for the future, and we have plenty of time to change our mindset and frameworks and decide where we want to take us. But doing nothing and just waiting for it to happen is going to lead to the wrong place. I believe the best way to predict the future that we want is to create it ourselves. Thank you so much.
That was perfect.
Exactly the right thing.
Great. Thank you, Moses.